Alright, what's going on, you YouTubers? I thank you for hanging out with me, sticking with me. I know it's been a minute since I dropped the video, but hey, here we go. Now, 5 tips on naming your poem. 5 tips of coming up with great names for your poem. Like, how do you do that, okay? Now, the first thing that you want to consider is that step 5, you want to make sure that the poem is not cliche-ish, okay? If you're talking about love, the name of the poem shouldn't be love. If you're talking about love, it shouldn't be love, conquer all. You know what I'm saying? We want to stay away from those cliches, okay? Now, the 4th step, and it's a really simple step, is that you want to make sure that the poem title is accurately misleading. Accurately misleading. For example, I have a poem called Obesity, but it's not talking about weight. I have a poem called Gone Fishing, but we're not talking about a vacation. I got a poem called Curse with a Curse, but it's not anything biblical. So it should be accurately misleading. There's something in that poem that gives it that particular name. The reason why I named it that. But if you were to just look at that particular name, the first thing you would say about obese, oh, he about to talk about fat people. No, it has nothing to do with weight, you know? And if you were to hear Gone Fishing, the first thing you think of, oh, somebody must about to retire and go on a long vacation. It has nothing to do with that, you know what I'm saying? So accurately misleading. Now, the 3rd step that you want to definitely consider is that never premeditate a title. Don't come up with a title, then write a poem with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it just almost keeps you in a box. You know what I'm saying? What I prefer you to do is go ahead and write the poem and let the poem tell you what the title should be. Just by reading the poem over and over and over again, really get a sense of the spirit of the poem and let the poem pretty much name itself, you know? And then once it does name itself, we want to stay away from the 3 things I already mentioned already. Also, the title of your poem should invoke curiosity. Because most of the time when you post your work, it's going to be on social media, and the first thing that they see is that heading. The first thing that they're going to see is that title, okay? And you want to present a poem, a title that's going to just make a person wonder, what is this poem really talking about? The more clever that line is, the more hits that you'll be more likely to get. And it all starts with the first 1,000 hits. If you get 1,000 hits within a week, it's really going to take off by itself, you know. But if it takes you a month, 2 months, 6 months to get to 1,000, then you may have, the first thing that you need to have to question is that title of the piece. Okay, that's the first thing to introduce yourself to that particular reader when you post on blog, or if you do something on social media, on a Twitter or a Facebook. That's the first thing they're going to see. That's their introduction to you, okay? Now, the last thing that I want to mention to you out of my 5 steps is always title your piece, okay? You never want to put untitled, because if you didn't care to put a title, why should I care to read it, okay? So always put a title to your piece, okay? It really goes a long way, you know? And just put some thought into it. So these 5 steps, if you have to go back into your arsenal of poems and change some names around, go ahead and do that, because it's only going to benefit you in the long run. And going forward, just keep these steps in mind as you're coming up with great ways to introduce your poem to social media, to the world. Okay? All right.